Hi there, everyone. Welcome to the webinar, The Benefits of Integrating Digital Signatures into OpenText Content Manager. It's going to be presented by myself, Jeff Thompson from Secured Signing. I'm the Enterprise Sales Director here at Secured Signing, and I cover the Asia Pacific region, and I work quite closely with New Zealand and Australian councils in particular, and many of those who have Content Manager as their ED RMS, and enabling digital signatures for them. So yeah, that's my role. What I'll do is I'll pass over to Tab to introduce herself and the team of Information Proficiency.
Hi everyone, so my name is Tabitha Walker. Everyone just calls me Tab though, and I am a senior consultant here at Information Proficiency, and I do a lot of the demos on behalf of our team. The other person we have here that's in the background is Dinesh, who is the creator of this integration, and we also have on the line Dominic Preston, who is our customer relationship manager. So he'll be the one whose details will be at the end of this presentation if you're interested in getting this connector for yourself.
All right, thanks, Tab. I did also just a little bit of housekeeping. Feel free to ask questions at any time through the webinar. We'll look to answer them for you. You can do that in the go to webinar panel on your screen, the questions or chat section. You can type in there. Yeah, so feel free to do that at any time during the webinar, and we'll also have some Q&A at the end that need. So, agenda for today, just a really quick talk about who Secured Signing is. And then I wanted to go through the benefits of digital signatures, and then also talk about security, data integrity, and compliance, that side of digital signatures. Then we're going to talk a little bit about integration and our new functionality that Dinesh and Information Proficiency have built regarding document templates through the integration. And then I'm going to pass over to Tab, who's going to show you how it works, how the Content Manager Secured Signing digital signature integration works. And then we'll have some Q&A, so I hope that's okay. So just quickly, and I forgot to add, I think we have scheduled for an hour, but I think we'll probably end up giving you some time back in the day, which I know is always appreciated. So I just want to start with about Secured Signing, who we are. We're a world-leading cloud-based digital signing and online forms platform. We have customers in over 45 countries globally. We're headquartered here in New Zealand, where our customer support, big part of our sales, our leadership team and development is done. But we do have staff in the US and the UK as well for those markets. We use PKI digital signatures, and without going into the detail of that, getting too technical, you know, it's sort of the gold standard in the industry in terms of document security and signing, security and compliance. The key industries in which we operate, as I mentioned, is government sector, whether that's local councils or central government, recruitment, HR businesses, finance industry, legal, and notary, more specifically in the US. And the reason we sort of raise that point is, you know, these are all organisations that take getting documents signed seriously and are looking for, you know, document control and efficient processing of documents, as well as providing a great experience for their internal staff and external parties. So some of our customers, you know, as I mentioned, a number of Australian local councils, some central government, New Zealand, and a number of these use the Content Manager integration. So what I think if I was to leave you with something today, you know, it's this message that I talk to people about, is that you know, digital signatures is simple. And using secured signing via integration with Content Manager, you know, it's simple. Sure, there's some complexity to the product in terms of functionality and making sure it's secure and compliant, but it's not a major change project in terms of your digital transformation. And you can just start small for those individuals at your organizations that, you know, getting documents reviewed, filled in, or signed is a reasonably big part of their day, and they'd really benefit from a digital signature platform. That you can start with a small amount of users, and then as you become more comfortable with the process, you can expand through your organization. But in the main, it really is about moving from paper-based or manual processes, or a mixed bag of perhaps all of the above, you know, using JPEGs and things like that, graphical images and so on, to a signing platform where you're placing signatures on a page, setting them out for signing, really easy for the people signing to sign the document, and then it's all done. You can move on. So yeah, that's one of the key messages I want to leave you with today. So now I want to talk about benefits, and we could go on and on there, but I've sort of provided 6, which I think are sort of the key ones. And in many ways, the 2 parts of it really is around efficiency and speed of processing and ease of processing documents that need signature, and then the security and compliance benefits that come off the back of that. So number 1 here is operational acceleration, which just means the time saved, the speed of getting documents returned compared to a paper-based process. Really easy for your document owners, those who are sending documents either internally or externally to be signed, to place a signature box on a document and send it out for signing. Then really easy and quick for those who have been invited to sign a document to do that, whether that's on their, you know, the desktop computer, laptop, tablet, or mobile, and get the documents back to you within, you know, same day or the next day. And again, you can compare that to the speed of putting things in the post, or people having to find a printer, or, you know, so on. The cost benefits. So with the platform, you obviously remove, save a lot of time in people's day, which is impacted by wages. You save the material costs of paper, printers, and scanners. And yeah, just through efficiencies gained, you can get your people who are bogged down in administration moving into more value add parts of their job. So when we're considering the cost benefit, you know, these are the sort of things that are taken into consideration. Through a digital process, you obviously have visibility over where documents are all the time. So you know if multiple signatories, you know who has and who hasn't signed a document. And you've obviously got a list of what documents still need to be signed and where they are in the process. In terms of stakeholder experience, as I've mentioned, you know, it's just really easy to use for those who job is to prepare documents to be completed. Once they learn how to use a platform, they just love being able to send documents and then being able to track them, send automated no longer having to chase people up because of the automated reminders, etc. And probably even better is the signing experience. Again, whether that's, you know, management, you know, senior leadership teams being able to sign quickly and on the go, or parties external to the organisation. You're presenting your organisation in a really professional way by not having to make individuals who more and more don't have access to printers and scanners to be able to process your documents and get them back to you quickly so they can continue with their experience with your organisation. Security and compliant, we'll talk to that next, but you're really increasing those things with digital signing. And you're also giving your staff the tools to work remotely, as well as those signing. As I say, they don't have to have access to things like scanners and printers. So now shifting to the security, data integrity and compliance side. And the one thing that I think public sector organisations talk to me about a lot is having a standardised signing practice at their organisation, whereas currently they have a mix between maybe some using digital signatures, but some using still on paper-based processes, but also quite commonly using graphical images that are sort of dropped and placed on top of documents. But of course, the document can be altered after that signature's gone on, or that signature can be copy and pasted and so on. And administration staff talk to me about how they're using senior management's graphical signature, and that they need to keep their own manual audit trail, so it can be quite time consuming and cumbersome. And I guess you're giving them authority and things like that. So you remove all of that and have comfort that everyone across the organisation is signing in the same way, as well as people external. So really, really great from a compliance perspective, security and audit perspective. With our PKI technology, the document is sealed once it's signed. So again, if the document is altered after the signature is placed, then the signatures will be invalidated, and you'll clearly know that. So a clear step up from having signatures on a page, but then you don't have that audit trail or understanding of has that document been altered after the signature. As part of the process for every document that's signed or processed, you'll have an audit log, and that tells you the document journey from when it's uploaded right through to stored back in Content Manager. So again, great for audit and compliance reasons. Via secured signing, so it has really strong levels of signer authentication if required. So you can make it simple for signers to sign, or add in additional layers of authentication, whether that's SMS, multi-factor authentication, or for really, really critical documents for your organisation, you can increase that to ID verification, etc. So you have really good comfort that you are verifying who is signing the documents. An important point to realise when you're sort of looking at digital signatures is who retains ownership and control of your document. So with secured signing, we don't keep a copy, due to the way our technology is built, we don't keep a copy of your document. So it's deleted from our platform. What we encourage and want you to do is make sure you have good records management, and of course the integration really helps with that, because as soon as the document's signed and completed, it automatically saves back into Content Manager, and it's not stored with secured signing long term. So you don't need to worry about your documents being saved on external platforms, which is reasonably unique to secured signing's platform. The other thing is you have review functionality, so you can set up reviewers internally to make sure of document accuracy, but also through digital signing platforms, you know that if you're asking individuals to fill in information or sign in particular places, you know that they're going to do that accurately and in the right spot, because they can't progress until they have done that. So it saves time as well as inaccuracy around form filling and signing practice. So you don't need to send documents back or double check that if things are being done correctly, because as long as you set the document up well, then the signer has to complete that accurately. So yeah, that covers off that security and compliance perspective. What I want to do is just I want you to have a think just for 20 seconds or so on what are your biggest document signing challenges, and if you want to write, you can just chuck that in the chat or the question box, and maybe we'll come to that at the end. Just want to cover off some local council use cases or public sector really. So and what I'm always fascinated by is just the wide range of documents that councils get signed, whether it's internally, moving documents around, or dealing with the public or suppliers. It's hard to say that these are the only use cases, because we have so many organisations that use the platform and for different document use cases and purposes. And as you can see on the screen, that's quite a broad list. But yeah, it's all about what documents need to be either reviewed, filled in, signed, or a combination of all. And as you can see, that can be very broad. Exciting news around the work that Dinesh and Information Proficiency have done in expanding the functionality of the integration. They've taken secured signings form filler product, which is essentially building document templates and being able to access those templates within Content Manager to send documents out really quickly for signing. Now, a document template are those documents that you want to save. So you've prepared the document the first time because you know that this is a document that's going to be sent out over and over. For example, a supplier registration form where you're asking suppliers to fill in information and then sign the document. Simply, the document owner would select the template and then just click send, and it's done. With templates, individuals or organisations can review, fill in and sign, and templates can be set up with form filling functionality, as I mentioned. So it's not just about capturing signatures, it's also about gathering information, whether that's written or uploaded information, files, whether that's insurance certificates or photos or identification, that sort of thing. That can all be done through the functionality. And you can, again, templates speed up the processing of documents because you remove the step of having to prepare the document or placing signatures on it, because you've done that once and you've done that the first time, and now it can just click the template and send it out for signing, obviously entering the details of who it needs to go to. So the template use cases I see that organisations use, as I mentioned, supplier registration form, internal approvals, HR documents, things like exit forms. So these are documents that are a template that you get individuals or people to fill in and get signed. NDAs are a good example. Applications, whether that's for grants or permits, that these are all documents that can be saved for reuse. Okay, so that's enough of me sort of talking. As I say, feel free to place questions or questions in the question or chat box, and we'll come back to them at the end. But I want to now, I think, a great way of understanding digital signatures and the benefit is to visualize how it works. So I'm just going to pass over to Tab now, and she'll take over for a quick demo.
So what we're going to be looking at is how the integration behaves within Content Manager and talks to secured sign-in, so you can actually see how it's working. So what we're going to do is we're going to take one of our documents and we're going to send to secured sign-in WeSign. So you can see that there are two options here. Now, originally there was only one, but with this new added functionality with the templates, it allows us to do both the templates and also the more traditional WeSign. So what we're going to do is we've selected our document that we want to get signed. We're going to select, as you saw, I did right-click send to secured sign-in WeSign. And as you can see, it's brought up the document here. We can also see if there's been any signing history for the document. I don't believe there has for this one, but that way if it's been sent out before, you can actually see that in there, and you can also see what other documents might have been signed. Then we would click Next. And as you can see, there's also attachments there as well. So we can actually add other email attachments in if we wanted to. We've got recipients. So this is where we pick who it is that we want to choose. So we've got a couple of options here. So we can do a search by name. We can choose to, with the location picker within Content Manager. But ideally, what you want to ensure that if you have the location within Content Manager, that you are matching it up to them, or you can type in the email. So I'm just going to search for this location. So this is the one we're going to send from. I'm going to go next. So this is where you can actually add a note into Content Manager. So on the actual document, it will add this note, and so you can say, oh, it's sent for signing for like actually add the note in without having to go into Content Manager after the fact to add that note. You then click Next. So you can see here that we're confirming. Now this is a selectable option whether this security profile shows up. So you can actually have it that people need to accept sending it with the current security profile. It's kind of like a double check going, hey, are you sending it to someone where this is appropriate? So you can actually get that confirmation as a part of it. We're then sending it to WeSign. So you can see that it's opening up. So from here, this is where we would actually add where we want the signatures to go. So you can basically, it's already said, oh, this is who you want to send it to. So we're clicking the administrator. You can see we've got a box here. So we can actually add this to the section of the document that requires the signature rather than say just anywhere randomly on the page. So you can actually say, oh, yep, we need them to sign here. We need them to sign here. So you can do multiple pages. You can also require that, let me just open this up a little bit more. You can actually also require them to have a witness, which is just down below, and include things like their job title, etc. You could also do where you get the confirmation that they've viewed it, but you don't necessarily need to sign it. So you've got those other options there. Once we've put in the signature, we then click Next. So what this will do is it will actually send out the email. We can choose to edit the invitation email if we would like. Hi, I'm sending this to you for this reason, etc. We can put in a due date. If you have multiple people, you can choose that it has to send it to them each in turn. And you can see here that I've got the check invitees, so you can put in the appropriate names. The email passcode, so this is what they see in their email to actually basically be a bit of security. So they'll receive the email saying, hey, you need to sign this, and they'll also get that passcode that they then need to enter in. And then I'm going to click Send. So you can see that the invitation has been sent. And we can click Done and it will close. Now, if we have a look at the document, there is actually fields down here within this section that allow us through the Customize View pane to show that it has actually been sent out for signing. So you can see here, secured sign-in reference. You can actually add that in to your properties down below so that when you're actually looking at it, you can see that it's saying the document reference, the date has been sent, so you can actually see the date that it was sent. And then is processed false basically says that the signature hasn't been done yet, that it hasn't come back. Did we check it out? True. So basically it's checked out until we get You can see that it's checked out there. It's checked out so nobody can edit it while we're waiting for that signature to come back. So when we actually get the signature signed by the person, and we're just going to wait for that to happen. What will happen is that it will come back into Content Manager, and we will then see that it has been processed. So sometimes, depending on how you have the server retrieval set up, this may take a little bit of time. So let me get back in. So what we can also do is we can refresh. And so you see here it says, is process true? So that means that the document that has come back has been signed. So as it would have placed it on as a revision, I'm just going to use the preview. There we go. So you can see that that's been signed, and it actually locks it like that. And it's come back as a PDF. I know that that's the Google Chrome symbol, but that's actually a PDF in this case. So it went out as something else. It's come back as a locked PDF. If that document was changed, it would actually break the signature. So that's how secure the PKI signatures are, in the fact that if the document is edited once it's been signed, it does actually make that signature invalid. Okay, so that's if we are sending out a normal document, so we're just doing it from the document level. If we wanted to use the templates, what we can do is you select the container that you want it to be saved into. You right-click, send to, and you can see now that the other one is active. So Secured Sign-In, use this container as destination for signed template. So I'm going to click that one. So I've come back to my screen. I'm just going to go next. Here is where we select the email attachments. Here I select the recipients. And go next. Once again, I can add a note. So I'll add a note to this one. So that you can actually see the note on the document, on the record. This is where we have the security profile set again. Go next. And now we're on the form filler. So here we've got our document. From here I select and we click send. So as you can see, we've gotten back up to this again, and here we've got, this is going to be the signer. We can also add any additional signers that we need. From here, sorry, let me just scroll down a little bit, and then I'm going to click send. Oh, it's going to make me do that. That's okay. I'll add myself in. So as you can see, you can add information after the fact if you've made it so that somebody else needs to be added in during this process. So let me just add my own. There we go. I'm going to click send. And as they always say, something always goes wrong. This is the joys of a live demo. So what would typically happen is that it would come back and we would have a templated document that would come back and it would be recorded into this folder. So it would come back to this. So this is great for those times where you know that, say, different contracts are always going to come back into different folders, because if you start it from this folder and say, okay, I'm sending this out, I'm getting those signatures. Another local government idea for this is minutes. This would be great for minutes, to get those digital signatures on minutes, because typically there's always a specific folder that those minutes are going to be saved into. And you could set it up that the template included all the different councillors that you needed to include. And for those of you who would like to see how it's sort of set up in the back end within CM, here's the external link. So it's just added in as an external link. And when we're sort of sending you the thing, we give you all the information about how to set it up, but it's just set up as that. And you just say, okay, these are the types of records, this is the locations, etc., that are required as a part of it. So I hope that everyone has enjoyed that demo.
So yeah, thanks very much for that demo. As you can see, the concept being that you're starting document processes within Content Manager, and then once signed, they're automatically saving back without you doing anything. So great for records management practice, getting documents back into the platform where you want them to be saved. And yeah, with the template functionality, you build the templates. So then when you're selecting the document, you just select the template, click send, put in the individual's names, and away you go. So appreciate you showing us that tab. So we're almost coming towards the end of the webinar. So we just got a question. We've got some questions there, Joseph. I should have introduced Joseph to the start. At the start, he is a real human.
Hello. Yeah, we've got 3 questions right now. The first one is the signing process also in Content Manager?
So this is where I look to Dinesh. Dinesh, you're going to have to speak.
Hi, this is Dinesh. I'm sorry, could you clarify the question?
Is the signing process also in Content Manager?
As in, is it audited?
So once the document is sent out, do your signers sign in Content Manager or externally?
Oh, right. Once the document's sent out, the recipient gets an email, and they would sign in a web browser.
Cool. Because that's a good follow-up for the second question, which is, does this also function in the web interface?
So the CM web client, it does not. I don't believe we can create add-ins for the web client. Yeah, so it's just a CM desktop only.
Cool. And one of the last questions here is, the email for sending the document for externals, do they need to be assigned locations? Not unknowns, but a person, organization, position.
Any location is fine, and if they don't exist in CM, you can add arbitrary email addresses as well. They just need an email address, really.
So that, to clarify, I guess the signing takes place outside of CM and on a web-based platform. The signers will be sent an email invitation. So they'll receive the email invitation to say you've been sent a document from blah blah blah. Please sign, more or less, and they go through the web-based signing experience, and then once signed, then it makes its way back automatically to Content Manager. Is that a fair summary, Dinesh?
Yeah, I can answer that one. Yeah, it's a fair summary.
Yeah, cool. Nice one. So many signers don't need anything to do with Content Manager, particularly if you're sending documents externally of the organization. They don't need anything to do with secured signing either. They'll just receive an email notification to say you've been sent a document. You can set up your own branding so that it has the logos and so on of the organization, and they'll just receive an email to say, as I say, hi there, you've been sent this document from this person. You can again adjust what those emails say, as Tab said, so you can instruct them to sign however you like with whatever process.
And that's the beauty of it as well, is the fact that because it's customizable on that end, but you're also dealing within the EDRMS itself. You've got that the best of both worlds, where you've got the flexibility, but by also having it send out and send back in, it's eliminating what I like to call the fleshware issue of people not putting signed documents back into your EDRMS. So it's actually eliminating that issue because it's automatically putting them back in once they've been signed. So you've got that revision with the signed document, but you've also got access through the revision system within CM to the unsigned document that would be underneath it as another revision.
Thanks, Tab. I see another question here regarding implementation. So, yeah, it's a good question. So secured signing works closely with information proficiency regarding the implementation. So I suppose we do some training on using the signing part of the software and understand your use cases and how best to use the platform to get the most out of it. But information proficiency, you can join in here, Tab, if required. Really step you through the setup and the connection and the integration side of things. So they're somewhat the content manager, obviously experts. Have a good understanding of digital signatures, but we train you in terms of the signing part of the process. So it's sort of a joint approach in many ways.
Yeah, so that connection side of it, in terms of the connection with connection from Content Manager to secured sign-in, basically it's a way that Content Manager can, it uses the integration to connect up to that web side of it in terms of sending the document out, and then with our connector, you also get, as part of that, in addition to the license, you get access to our help desk. So our help desk is manned by all our staff pretty much, and so if you're having a issue with the integration, you can actually send emails to that help desk to receive that additional help.
Good one. Is there Joseph, you were probably best. I think there's another question there.
Yeah, there's one final question. Can information proficiency provide demos? Which I guess is just
of secure signing?
The content manager integration and templating and stuff like that.
So I believe that can be organised. Obviously, you would have to reach out to us, specifically Dominic, to organise those. So they can be organised. If you were looking for, so some of the other things that we provide as well is generally content manager related. So we do training and we do all sorts of things. And so if you're looking at, say, implementing workflows, for example, within Content Manager, we could actually work with you about developing those workflows and then using secured sign-in as a part of those workflows as well, in terms of that connector integration. So there's a lot of scope there. We pretty much cover, if it's IM, RM related, we cover it. And we have staff both on the technical side, like Dinesh, and we have staff that are on the sort of the user and administrator level, like me. So I typically go out to other organisations and I help them with these sorts of solutions. And And we have other integrations besides this one for different aspects. But we really appreciate the work we do with secured signing because we think this product's awesome.
Thank you. And yeah, final, I think another one's popped up here regarding how the pricing model works. So yeah, good question again. There's two factors to the pricing model. It's based on the number of users. And now a user is just those individuals who need access to send documents out, so prepare and send documents out for signing. So those individuals that would receive a document to sign, as I mentioned, they don't need anything to do with secured signing. And obviously if they're external, nothing to do with content manager. So that's fine. It's just those internal staff that would be sending documents either internally or externally for signing that need a user access. And then the second part is just the number of documents you'd be sending for signing. So they're the two things we typically work through to come up with pricing. Obviously, the more volume of each, the higher the price, but the less per unit cost. So it's sort of your typical sort of subscription model like that. Yep.
And so that's the secured sign-in side. And for the integration side of it, I believe it's a fixed price on an annual license basis, and that does include access to our help desk.
So cool. I don't think there's any more there is there, Joseph. I don't have great visibility through lack of intellect from my part more than anything, but no more. Good one. Okay, so as I said, I think that's given you a little bit of time back in your day. Enjoy that up on the screen, hopefully, as the contact details here. As I'm Jeff Thompson from Secured Signing Enterprise Sales Director, and as Tab mentioned, if you want to get in touch with Information Proficiency, Dominic Preston is your best man there. His email's on the screen, but I'm sure he'll probably reach out as well. Appreciate your time today. Hope you learned something about digital signatures, certainly the benefit of integrating into your document management system and the benefits and security improvements you can make. Really appreciate Tab and Dinesh coming along from Information Proficiency, doing a great job that they do. So thanks to all and enjoy the rest of your day.